Giving your wife a gift can be a simple and a complicated thing to do. Coming out of the holidays, some of you may have experienced a challenge of picking a perfect gift for your wife, and some of you may have found this to be one of the most simplest things ever to do, period. And that's great. But today, we're going to talk about giving our wives a gift in a way that she will receive love from us. So stay tuned.
Welcome to the Husband's Coach's Corner, the podcast that teaches husbands how to love their wife every day and become better men in the process. I'm your host, Chris Scott, aka the Husband Coach.
Hey, welcome back and Happy New Year. This is the first episode released in the year of 2021, so I'm excited for that. We started in June, and the podcast has just grown and grown and grown. So I want to say, first and foremost, thank you to all of the listeners and supporters out there. I hope that this content brings value to you as a husband or a fiance, and for the wives that may be listening in. Hopefully this is helping out with gaining some insight on how husbands can really get engaged in the marriage. Now, like I said in the intro, today we are going to be talking about giving gifts to our wives. And this is right along with the 5 love languages, and this is the love language of gift giving. Now, not all women prefer to have gifts, and we understand this. However, gifts are a way of showing appreciation for a person. And typically we want to give a gift that holds some value to that person. So if this is the love language for your wife, then guys, you are in for a treat. And if this isn't the love language for your wife, then you are in for some spontaneous ways of bringing life to your marriage if you feel like you're stagnant, but you're also in for a treat for some very unique ways of being able to present something to your wife. She says, "Aw," and that's the goal that we really want to go for. Maybe not all the time, but most of the time we want her to say, "Aw," when you give her a gift. So gifts are a great way to give your wife something that speaks directly to what and how you were thinking about her in that moment. Gift ideas change with the season of life. Obviously, as you progress in your marriage, you're going to get different gifts for your wife, and hopefully she gets you different gifts. But the memory is really what we're triggering. Right? When we give our wife a gift, we want to trigger a memory. It's important that the gift holds to a memory. So let's talk about how you can give a gift that leaves a good memory and speaks directly to your wife's love language, or more importantly, her love tank, which is very, very important for us to be able to speak into. So the very first tip: purchase things she likes, not things that you like. This is a simple thing to understand, but man, there are so many men, including myself, that want to purchase things that we want our wife to have, but she's not really into. And every time I think of this particular gift giving tip, I think of this episode of The Simpsons when Homer bought Marge a bowling ball for some reason. I don't know what the occasion was, but he was super excited for her to get the gift, and then she opened it up and was like, "Oh, great, a bowling ball." And I think all of us have been in some situation where we've gotten a gift for someone and we're like, "Yes, they're going to love this." And then they open it and they're like, "Thanks." And you're like, "Well, don't you like it?" And, you really want them to like it. And they're trying to be polite. And, some people are more polite than others. But if you've ever been in this situation, it's weird. And you don't want to be in this situation if you can avoid it by any cost. So the way that you avoid this is you get things that she likes, not things that you like. How do you know what she likes? Well, you write things down about your wife. My wife, she gives me clues on things all over the place. One Christmas, I bought her a gold necklace. She got a pendant from her grandmother, and she said that she would like to have that on a necklace someday. And this was probably in October. So I saved up some money, and on Christmas, she unwrapped a gold necklace that she was able to put this pendant on. And my wife wears this necklace every single day. Now, there was a moment when the clasp in the back of the neck, in the back of the chain or necklace, whatever, it broke off, and she cried. And, I was like, okay, what are you crying for, right? Because she woke up and she was in the bathroom and she was crying. So, I had to go in there and ask her, hey, what's going on? And she told me that the necklace broke. And, in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's too easy, because I purchased insurance on the necklace, so I can take it back to the jewelry store and they'll fix the clasp free of charge. So I was like, oh, yeah, that's not a problem. I'm going to go get this turned in and, however long it takes them to fix it. So, it was something that she got as a gift, but it holds so much value and meaning to her. And, this isn't in my notes, but bonus tip, if you can combine your gift with something that holds sentimental value to her, to your wife, you're going to gain so many bonus points when you give this gift, because it's not something that just you are invested in. It's something that she's invested in, and it's going to mean a lot more. Guaranteed, it's going to mean a lot more to her. So try and find ways of combining sentimental gifts or things that, your wife holds true to herself or, holds to a high value around the house, and find a way of incorporating a gift with that. And your wife will tell you. Like I said, my wife told me she wanted this necklace. I said, oh, okay, mental note. And then I don't know about you, but I forget things. So when I got some time, I opened up my wife journal and I just wrote that in there. I have a whole gift section of things that, I want to buy my wife at some point. And, there's a lot of gifts on there. So when Christmas comes around, it's really, really, really easy for me to, just say, oh, yeah, this is what I'm going to get you. Anniversary, this is what I'm going to get you. So that's a side point, bonus tip. Let me get back on track. The other thing when it comes with purchasing things like that she likes is you want to make sure that there's a memory involved with this particular gift, right? When you're standing there and you're buying something, you want to make sure that when she receives this, you have to kind of play this out in your head where you say, okay, what will my wife do when she gets this gift? So when she opens it up, what's the first reaction she's going to have? And if that reaction is positive and there's some sort of emotion tied to it, man, you're going to be in a really, really good place. But if you're not, or if she isn't, then that's probably not the gift that you want to get for her. Now, there are some there's some exceptions to this, right? One of the things that my wife likes, and I personally do not like, is buying flowers. My wife loves getting flowers from me, and I don't know why. I don't do it too often, but when I do, she gets so excited. I don't think she can remember all the times that I've purchased her flowers or brought her home some flowers or anything like that. And that's really more of a quick win gift, right? Gifts, they come on different levels. The necklace, she's going to remember that forever. The flowers, she'll remember that until the end of the week, or until they die, go in the trash, and then that's the end of that. So obviously, gifts do come on different levels, but the goal is to purchase something that she likes, she's going to enjoy, and it's not something that you personally like or enjoy necessarily. You may enjoy whatever the gift is, especially if you have shared interests, but focus on getting things for your wife that she will enjoy. And I guarantee you, you are going to become the savant of gift giving. Number 2, don't break the bank. I have met so many people who have gone into credit card debt and took out loans to get these elaborate gifts for seemingly no real return on their investment when they gave the gift to their wife, and in one case, a fiance. So I have to caution against spending a lot of money on getting a gift, especially if it's something where you're not even confident she's going to like it. And don't try and keep up with the Joneses. Just because the guy down the street got his wife a brand new BMW doesn't mean you got to go out and buy your wife a BMW. Don't try and keep up with all these consumeristic things that are all over on the TV, the internet, things like that. Instead, I recommend that you focus on getting something, again, sentimental, however you say that word. That's what you really want to hone in on. Say, what does my wife really, really like? And what has real meaning to her? Because after a while, that car, she'll drive it. She'll know, she'll like it. She'll be excited. But that car loses its value as soon as you drive it off the lot. And the emotional value that you get out of buying a car for your wife is only good up until she gets over the fact that you even got her the car, right? So don't necessarily break the bank. Now, obviously, your wife married you, and hopefully you guys are sharing your financial stat, where you stand financially. So if you can't afford a car, and then you show up with a car, that gift is probably going to build some tension because, she's going to be like, well, wait a minute. You bought this car, and as much as I would love to drive this thing, what is this going to set us back? How is this going to affect our financial goals that we have? So I have to caution against breaking the bank and buying the most expensive, elaborate gifts. It's different if you save up for it and you can prove to your wife that, financially you guys are going to be fine after you get this gift. So go with that. And, there was a year, Christmas, I typically try and get my wife, a few good items, right? Dollar amount doesn't really matter because I save the money over the year because I know that I'm going to be purchasing some gifts come Christmas time or, October, November window. Well, there was this one particular year I went into Walmart and I was like, oh man, I have no idea what I'm going to get my wife. I did not have a wife journal at this time. And I was walking down, how they have those random pallets of stuff in the middle of Walmart. So, you can spend all your money in the store. Well, there was this as seen on TV pallet that was next to the checkout. And on there was this Snuggie thing. And I remember my wife, she at this point in our lives, she used to, or she still does, but she was really big into sitting in the living room and watching TV on the couch and stuff like that. And she always told me she got cold, and she would ask me to bring her a blanket from upstairs, or store a blanket behind the couch or something like that, so she can, wrap up in it. Well, on this shelf or this pallet, there was a thing called the Snuggie. Now, I personally seen this as a gag gift that had some sort of functionality, because she'll be able to put her arms in it, and she'll be able to watch TV. So I wrapped it, put it under the tree, and that was like the third gift that she opened that year. And at first, she did exactly what I expected her to do with it. And she looked at it and she was like, "Oh, thanks. It's a Snuggie. I'm going to look silly sitting on the couch wrapped up in this thing." And a few days went by. So she opens up the Snuggie and she wraps up in it, and she finds out that she really loves the way that the Snuggie feels. And she loves it so much that it puts her to sleep. So she'll wrap up in the Snuggie, and then she's like, "Oh man, I'm about to go to sleep." And over the years, that has become her sleeping aid, if you will, when she's not sleeping in the bed, because she has some challenges falling asleep anywhere that's not in the bed. So when she's sitting on the couch and she wants to rest, she'll grab the Snuggie, and within a few minutes, she's like knocked out like a little baby. So, this is a gift that she remembers and she loves, and she gets so excited when she gets to wrap up in her Snuggie. So, and that thing cost me $20. Still to this day, my wife is finding value and appreciation from a $20 gift that I got her on a whim, just because it happened to be in front of me. And that's what we're really looking at today, right? Not necessarily $20 gifts, but how can you get your wife something that she will be able to get some functionality out of, or some use out of, and appreciate, without going into debt? Don't break the bank. So the last thing that I have on this, if your wife enjoys homemade things, make her something. And I'm not talking about like little ceramic things, unless she's into that and you're really good at it, or she appreciates the work that you do. I'm a hobbyist photographer. I take a lot of pictures of my kids. I take a lot of scenery pictures, things like that. And my wife, she just enjoys my work. She likes the photos that I take. She likes the way that I edit the photos of the kids. So what I did one year is I took a photo of our kids, and I turned it into a collage. I guess it was a series of photos. I took some photos of our kids, turned it into a collage, and printed it out over a canvas. And then I gave that to her as a gift. Just a spur of, like, random. I probably gave it to her somewhere in like March. I don't know. Just some random day. And she loves that gift. She opened it and, she got excited. And that cost me maybe $30 to print, just because it was a canvas print. So find ways to do that. And your wife will absolutely love you for it, and she'll appreciate it. If you're good at making home videos, or maybe you're a musician, write her a song, write her a melody, and name it for her. One of the other things that I did for my wife that I made for her was a home video of our kids growing up. I've made anniversary home videos of just random photos that my wife and I have taken over the years in our marriage. And then I said, "Hey, happy anniversary." And she loves to get a video from me. And, I keep her guessing. I don't get her a video every single anniversary, or every single Christmas, or on her birthday, which happens to be our anniversary. Instead, what I do is I change it up. Sometimes I might get her some photos. Sometimes I might make her a video. Sometimes I'll buy her something. These are just some of the ways that you can really get involved with giving your wife gifts. Third note that I have here is be creative with the gifts that you get. Don't get the same thing every single time. I kind of alluded to that in my last point where I said I don't give her a video every single time, because then it just becomes expected and it becomes redundant, and it loses its overall flair and pizzazz. Unless, you're just like a super really good person at making a certain thing and your wife really, really is into it. Change it up. Variety in the gifts that you give what's the word I'm looking for? The more variety that you put into the gifts that you give to your wife, the more opportunity you have to learn what she responds well to and what she doesn't respond well to. Because let's face it, you guys, me included, we're going to give our wives some gifts at times, and she is not going to react the way that we expect her to. Don't take that as a defeat. Say, oh, okay, noted. Don't get you this. And then you go on to another gift that you're going to give her. All right. So be creative with the gifts that you get and change it up. Some other ways of being creative is, again, tying it back to a particular memory that maybe you and your wife have, right? You guys go on a cruise somewhere and you come across this, maybe a souvenir that you had, and you want to take that souvenir and turn it into something that your wife will really appreciate. That can be, that can be really good. You may have some memories elsewhere where you can turn that into a gift, photo gifts. You take a photo from something that you did years ago or yesterday even, and you can go online. And most of the places that print photos, they print phone cases, they print all kinds of other things. So it's not too hard. We live in a really good time frame, outside of the constraints that we have with the coronavirus. We live in a really good time where we can go online and purchase things and, customize it. And you don't have to know how to do everything because these companies have made it really simple for us. So don't buy the same things and be creative however you can, and don't be afraid to fail. I think most people, they stay away from being creative with the gifts that they get for their wives because they're afraid that they're going to fail. And it's okay. Just accept it. Say, you know what? I failed this time, or I didn't do very good this time. You didn't fail. I didn't do very good this time. And then you move on to the next time and so forth and so on. So those are the three things. Now, here are a few more tips that I have, and then we'll wrap it up with a drill. So take photos of all of these memories that you're creating when you're giving a gift. Take a photo every day if you can, right? I used to do this and I kind of fell off of it, but I used to take a photo with my wife every single day, and I would save them into a folder, and it made it easy for me to find good pictures of us that I can share either on social media or put into the slideshows that I told you that I used to make, or the videos. So taking a photo of memories, right? I got in a shopping cart one year. I don't know why. And my wife started pushing me around in the grocery store. I took a selfie of her pushing me and me sitting in the cart. And that is a memory that we can always go back to and recall and, say, oh yeah, I remember when we did this. So sometimes a good gift could just be a text message of a memory that you guys shared years ago, and you're just reminding her. Okay. So that's a really huge tip. The drill for this week is really simple. And sorry if you can hear my dog barking. I don't know what he's barking at, but he's barking. The drill for this week is really, really simple. I want you to plan out the next 3 gifts that you want to give to your wife. Doesn't matter what they are, big, small, whatever. Plan them out. Put them on a calendar or write them down somewhere in a safe place, whatever. But think about what you want to get her, the next 3 gifts that you want to get her, and then figure out when you want to get her those gifts. Right now, at the time of this recording, obviously Christmas has just passed and we've entered into the new year. Maybe there's a new year resolution that your wife has, and you can get her something that will help her with that. That could be a good gift idea. You can potentially plan out what you're going to get her next month or the month after next, whatever. Just plan it out and be ready to get it for her. Now, again, if getting gifts is your wife's love language, and I'm not talking like in a gold digger kind of way, but if your wife genuinely appreciates it when you get her a gift, one, you have probably already figured out how to get her a good gift. I would suspect that many of the people listening in on this podcast today, their wives are not necessarily high on the gift getting idea, but we want to be able to get our wives loving gifts so we can fill up that love tank. And as I've mentioned before, when there's a situation, you have something that you can pull from. So if you're in that situation, that's cool. There's no issue with that. All right. Use some of these tips and, get your wife something that makes her go, "Aw," and keep it moving. But I'm going to leave it right there. Like I said, I'm excited to get back into it. 2021 is going to be a phenomenal year for all of the husbands out there, regardless of the situation that we find ourselves in, pandemic-wise. We're still going to be able to love our wives each and every day. All right? So what I need you guys to do is to find a way to love your wife every single day. Until next time, stay safe. Peace out.